Hello everyone, welcome back to American Outback, and yeah, I remembered it again. Man82, joining Squirrely, howdy Squirrely.
Hello.
And Rickster, howdy Rick.
Howdy, howdy.
And you need me to purchase this field, so we're going to buy a couple fields today and do some plowing. So let's purchase this one, I think is 150,000, so we'll buy that one. What do we buy? There we go. Boom, it is ours. Pull the trigger on the sprayer. I'm gonna run over to, I'll head over to field 5 and purchase that one. And then we're gonna be pretty low on cash because it's 250,000. We got 300,000. Run. So we're purchasing these two fields. They need to be plowed. They don't have any fertilizer. They've been seeded, and they're at the first stage of growth. So we're just gonna plow them under, right?
Yeah. Just be putting extra nutrients in the soil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we had that green mod, is it a green crops mod or something? I forget what it was. Then doing this would actually give us a fertilizing level. I think you'd have to mow it or something. I don't know. I don't know, but we don't have it, so it's a moot point. Get enough room there, Squirrely? Here, I'll back up out of your way.
I'm just setting up the GPS right now.
Alrighty, let me know when you have, and I'll copy it.
Going a little bit narrower. That should be good there.
Okay, so I'll grab that. Got it.
Are those the in-game Salford? I guess that's how you pronounce it. Plows.
That's right.
I don't know what it is, but I struggle with those angle plows with GPS.
Yeah, it certainly takes some. I almost start off with just using it with getting rid of the offset and then adjusting from there, adjusting the offset after that. I assume Squirrely's got some experience with this, so I'm just letting him take the lead on it. Having said that, got the offset. Wow, why is the offset so crazy on that?
I'm not sure, I was just noticing that too. But I just followed the green line.
Well, it's trying to... okay, so I'm going to just turn off that offset. See where we go from there. Let me see here. So I guess I should start maybe from the other edge of the field. Yeah, that makes more sense.
No, you can push follow me.
Yeah, what do you do for your return trip then? Just wait for me, or are you going to go around the field?
Well, I'll just... but I can just head up the center. If we work from the outside in.
Okay, that's what we'll do then. Derping along. So I had a big apple harvest this week. From one tree I had 86 pounds, and that doesn't include the drops up until they actually got harvested. So
Nice.
yeah. So now I'm like, well, I don't really want these apples because I don't really have a use for them right now. So I'm not gonna can them. I don't, and I've still got applesauce from last year. I've still got dehydrated apples from last year. So I think what I'm gonna do is, one of my neighbors has a farm and has pigs. So I think maybe I'll work out a trade. I'll trade some drops and maybe get some sausage. That he makes sausage from some of their animals. So see if I can do a trade or some apples and get some meat for it.
Sound like a good plan.
Well, it ain't plan. I don't know how good a plan it is. I guess we'll see. So I'm going.
Depends on if your neighbor sees it as a good plan.
That's true. So they were at their, we have a farmer's market, and so they were there today. I didn't go, but so they were selling their wares. They really land. One of the guy, like the guy that it's a couple. So the guy, he's from Scotland, so he's just come over in recent years. So he's new to our island and landed here and bought a farm, and he's been farming like crazy. Some of the other farmers are feeling it here, I think. But that's okay, a little bit of competition. Okay, so Squirrely, we're gonna just work from the center outwards, is that the plan?
Yeah, I can do that.
And
If
then
you
I
want to go back door to the other side, just work that half, I'll work this half. And then we won't get in each other's way.
I'll just follow you, it's alright. Unless, I don't think I'll be in your way if I follow you. There we go. So I get rid of the offset. Hopefully that doesn't screw you up when you get there. Well, if it does, then apologies.
No, I got rid of it too.
Oh, okay. Don't really need it with these plows too much. I mean, it overlaps a little bit. You could probably put the offset to the right, you know, part of a row, but I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, I also have it set narrower too, so we don't miss anything.
That's good. Not worrying too much about the ends here. I'm assuming we're going to plow a headland when we're done. Or not. Alright. We have magic plows that don't plow up grass. Right? Because why not?
Yeah.
It's Farm Sim-ish. So, my video will be live by the time this one goes live, so I can talk about it. So in Gold Rush, I went and I got the Frankenstein, and that thing is a beast. It's pretty useful. I mean, it's not useful in every situation, but it's pretty useful. It holds about enough dirt to fill the dump truck twice, plus have the belts loaded, like a buffer on the belt. So that works pretty slick. Might get another one next weekend for my dollar equipment Sunday. That's where I pay $1 and I get whatever equipment I want for $1. Kind of speed things along a little bit. I tell you, on hard mode with the new repairs they've added, oh my goodness, is that ever hard to stay up, like keep up on the money, because you're paying so much for parts and fuel, and barely make any profit. But we're making quick work of it, doing a fast job on this field, making quick work of it. Oh, every night I go out chasing raccoons out of my grapes out here. They've only been in there a couple times, but I go out and check every night now. Run them off. Living in the woods.
Little mass bandits.
They are. Cute little things, but they sure are destructive. So I go out and I growl and hiss and go on at them. I don't actually do anything. I don't throw anything at them or threaten them in any way other than just growling and hissing at them and yelling, and they don't like that. Off they go, and then they'll come back.
They're like, gosh, he's unfriendly.
Well, really, the biggest problem for me having them around is because of my cats. I don't really like them around my cats. My cats don't seem too bothered by them. They don't go near them. My little guy who passed away last year, I've seen him chase a raccoon on the yard before. So he was much more territorial, even though he was fixed. Say that with air quotes. He's like, I wasn't even broken. I had you fix me for.
Otherwise, you'd be overrun with kitty cats.
Yep. Or either me or the neighbors would be. Females are fixed as well. There's enough kitties down at the shelter that, you know, anytime I'm looking for more, it's easy enough to get them without having a whole bunch more introduced to the area.
Yep.
Keep the population under control. Oh, I was saying before we started recording here, played some construction sim a couple nights ago. How much fun we had playing that one as a group. 4 of us. Good times. Fun stuff. Speaking of which, where'd Mike go? That Mike, I thought he was going to be here today. Guess not today. Playing soccer. Couple more passes, Squirrely, looks like.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Should I go start on one, or should I wait and put a second layer on that one? I think I'll do a second layer, that way y'all
Yeah.
can start planting or something.
Where you did that first strip, we're on the last bit of that now, so you'll be able to. Well, and then we got probably each of us one more strip down the other side, so. I'll get that little bit on your right, Squirrely, that I left before because I was planning to do a headline. I like the look of the field after it's been plowed. Darn plants, go and spoil it. Especially those old potatoes. Actually, potatoes don't look too bad. I like the potato hills. They say you don't want to do this too often though, because it hurts the microbes in the soil that you need for your plants.
What's that, plowing?
Mm-hmm. Turning the soil over, it exposes the critters in the soil to air and damages the soil health. So they say. That's the whole no-till mentality there. Every time you turn over the dirt, it's drying it out and it's affecting the soil health because it won't hold together and killing everything that's in the dirt that's supposed to be helping the plants. So they say. I'm not an expert.
Yeah, I think you need to know your particular area in the soil that you're dealing with.
Hmm.
I honestly don't think there's a one-size-fits-all.
That is a good point. Yep. Certainly got its uses though, and you'd have to think that the less compaction because you're doing fewer trips on the up and down the field.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there is something to this
There's
plowing every
pluses
3
and
years.
minuses.
Yeah.
It just depends on where you're at and what the soil needs.
That's right. It's a balancing act. Okay, now we're off to number 5. Gonna have to rotate 90 degrees, are we?
No, I
No?
just stuck with the same one.
Oh yeah, okay. Do we plow the right field? Did we plow the right field? Okay, we did, yeah. Oh my. It's like, I didn't think that was right. Because when I went to spray it, I did it the other way, and then I had to change it 90 when I came over here. But I had that mixed up with another field. No, I'm mixing it up with 2 and 18, because I did those off screen there this morning. Plowing under the corn. I assume this is corn. Looks corny. I'm looking forward to 19. How much longer? Anybody counting the
Couple
days?
months.
Yeah.
Don't blink.
Mm. Yeah, that time goes by fast.
Yesterday was March, wasn't it?
Seems like it. I gotta finish painting my house. Now the rains. We finally got our first rain yesterday. First real rain since April. And it's September. And it's actually a bit early this year, which is good. So finally, the danger of forest fire, we can breathe a sigh of relief. I mean, the danger isn't gone, but it's certainly reduced. It's been a really bad year for ants. I've been battling the ants like you wouldn't believe.
Searching out moisture.
Yeah. I've had them in two different places in my house this year. Got them under control, I think. Well, one's totally eradicated, and the other one's getting there. They kind of nest in chains. Like they'll have a main nest, and then a satellite nest, and then another satellite nest beyond that, and they kind of do that. So on both instances, I killed the next one up the chain from where they were coming in my house. So one of them was immediately affected by that. They just died right off immediately. The other one, the other nest, not so much. So the ones they're nesting up in my attic. So they, yeah, and I'm not too happy about that. I think it's a different kind of nest. Anyways, so they're out looking for food, foraging. So I discovered that. I was like, oh, okay. Well, they don't take. I've got this sugar borax bait that I use that I think is pretty non-lethal to most things. And so I put that out for them, and I made a little container so that ants can get at it, but bigger animals can't. That sort of thing. So the ants are going for that, and they don't normally go for sugary stuff, but they are because they're just desperate for food. So first they have one nest got destroyed, and then when they're starving, they go up to get food, and it's poison. But yeah, well, I got about 48 acres, and of that 48, they own about 46 of it. So I figure, keeping them out of the house I can justify it. Preserving the rest of their territory. Hitman versus the ants. I hate to say it, my money's on the ants long term. They're gonna outlive me.
I think they already won.
Yeah. Oh, when I was a kid in high school, I read this book called Leningen versus the Ants, and it was about a guy in, I think, down in the Amazon. And he had a plantation there, and these ants they go in kind of cycles, where after a bunch of years they just do this mass migration, and they just mow through everything in front of them. Like they just eat every bit of anything organic. They just strip it, including the crops, but also livestock. If it's on hooves, they'll eat it, or if it's in sneakers, it'll eat it. And so this guy, it was just about his fight to try and keep his land. Charlton Heston was in the movie, so I watched that a little while back. Can't remember who he starred with. Yeah, it was a pretty good movie. And that one was... I can't remember the name of that one. It was a good one. I was going to recommend it, but I can't remember the name, so that's hardly useful. It's from, I think, the 50s or 60s.
I remember it, but I don't remember the name either.
Something about jungle. Living jungle, maybe?
Something, yeah, something like that. I don't remember exactly. But
easy enough to find.
Some people call them driver ants or army ants. I forgot.
Yeah.
What. But they're the type that they don't nest. They bivouac, if you will.
They'd be a little harder to get rid of then, I imagine. You don't get them all the queens anyway. I learned a lot about carpenter ants are my main problem, and any other ant around here, like the little smaller ants, the sugar ants. those are easy to eradicate with that bait that I was yakking about. But I tried diatomaceous earth. They don't like that too much. So that's prehistoric diatoms that are they're really tiny, like microscopic, and they're very sharp. Their carcasses are very sharp, and then they you put that down, and they tear open the ant's carapace, and then they die of dehydration because the holes in their it tears out in their carapace, and also the wax. Ants have a waxy coating on their carapace, so causing them to dehydrate. What's up?
The Naked Jungle.
That's it. Yes, Naked Jungle. I knew it was something jungle. Jungle of Death. That was my first guess, but I was pretty sure it wasn't that one. Did you look it up, or have you just been sitting there racking your brain?
I looked it up.
Oh, Cheaterton. That's okay. A cheat answer is better than no answer at all, I guess.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I should buy a tablet that I can have here that I can. I guess I got a laptop like 2 feet from me. I could have just fired it up and looked. Yep, Naked Jungle. That's Charlton Heston, and who does it say he starred with? What was her name?
Eleanor Parker.
I don't recognize her name, but I recognized her in the movie. Like seen her in other movies. But yeah, she so Charlton Heston, the plantation owner, he basically was a kid and he bought property in the Amazon and basically took it from the jungle over the course of his life, and in that time he never had a chance to marry, and so he gets kind of a mail order bride, and she shows up from, I'm thinking, New York or some city. So she's, a city dweller, shows up in this, and it's just jungle. It's Amazon jungle, and so quite a shock for her. And then the guy is really abrasive, and so there's some drama to it. It's a pretty interesting story. It's one of those stories you read when you're a kid and it sticks with you, and then there's a movie. I found that out years and years later. The short story was called Leningen versus the Ants, I think. No, not that. The I think wasn't part of the movie title, or the book title. Are you Googling that too?
No.
Yeah. Oh, so nice to get rain. It's cooled off. Fall. Oh, I was putting up a downspout. I mentioned several times here I've been painting my house, and I took downspouts off. So the other night I went out at 10:15 at night to put it up because we were expecting, I guess that was 2 nights ago, expecting the rain yesterday. So I went out and I went to put the downspout up, and we have this piping called Big O, which is this black plastic corrugated pipe, and that goes into my drain tile around my house. So we put kind of a stub in at each corner of the house, and then we could run a drain pipe to it. So anyway, I went to put this downspout in, and inside that black pipe was a couple of tree frogs. Well, they're kind of cherished here. Like, we've got our local radio station's called Tree Frog Radio, and they're protected. Any riparian like frog habitat marshy areas here are protected as well. So I had to try, and I managed to fish one of them out. Just I went and I had a piece of wire, and I just slowly kept bumping the back of its legs, and it kept hopping up and out of the thing. And then the other one said, "Well, I'm going further down." So I said, fine. Put the downspout in, but there's enough gap he can get back out again. But little bugger, he just kept going around and around, and I was like getting impatient. Like, come on, I'm just trying to put this downspout up before it rains, you little jerk. So finally he went down out of the way.
You're like, I got a happy place, I'm staying.
Mm-hmm.
Critters.
Yep. Oh, I like those frogs. I like spiders. Both of them kill off all the bugs. Or not all the bugs, obviously, but a lot of bugs.
But they do help.
Yeah, they certainly do. Bats and birds. Try to protect it all. We got these two cats or a couple carnivores. They'll eat anything, catch anything, and not necessarily eat it. So, Callie is death on squirrels. I mentioned we got a big acreage. Well, the 4 acres that the house sits on, plus the surrounding fenced-in area, there are no squirrels alive in there. Nope. She won't allow them. They sit in the tree and pester her, and then until she gets them. But, well, try not to let her.
What they do best.
Yep. Well, I don't let her out at the time when the early morning and around dinner time, or when birds you'll see they're out on the ground more often when they're and they're feeding. So I try to keep the killer cat in the house during when the birds are on the ground feeding, so she doesn't get a lot of birds. But every night she gets mice. So, and she keeps them under control. Oh, can't imagine what it'd be like if we didn't have her keeping the rodent population down. We'd have rats and mice and chipmunk, or not chipmunk, squirrels and everything would be here nested in the attic and making a mess. Eating all our crops. What have we got? One left over there, Squirrely? One run?
Yep.
Okay, and then and Rick's doing the spraying, so we're gonna be doing some seeding. It looks like. What are we gonna plant here? Sunflowers. We need some sunflowers, I think. Maybe a tuber crop. We could maybe on 5 here we could do sugar beets. Does that sound?
Sounds good.
Soon I'll remember. You'll remember. Squirrely will remember. He always remembers. Me, I'm a hitman. I'm more of a dismember than a remember. Reading a Tom Clancy book, and one of the stars of it, John Clark, he's kind of a CIA guy, and he's been captured. He's no longer working for the CIA. Anyway, they're torturing him, and so they were going to cut off his hand unless he told them who he's working for, and he's like, well, do what you got to do, and because he knew the guy wouldn't do it. So anyway, they got a hammer, and they just hammered the crap out of his hand, and oh my gosh, just picturing that. Oh. No thanks. I think I'll stay home where it's nice and safe. Why'd I bring that up? I don't know. Pleasant way to round up the video. I do a lot of reading. Read every day. Hour or so a day. Okay. Oh, we got eggs to pick up. Suppose. Nah, I don't want to pick up eggs. Nah, I don't want to pick those up.
Where's Trillian when you need her?
Mm-hmm. Really, we need to come and harvest all these eggs. Like, pick your own damn eggs. No. Okay. Oh, that's neat. I didn't notice these silos here painted on the top, but they look nice and worn. That looks pretty nice. Except for the the little white blocks around the top don't look so good, but the rest of it does. Okay, now I'll spray this, and I guess we can call it an episode here. So we can kind of wrap it up. If you want to start us off there, Rick.
See you later, folks.
It's really.
Have a good one.
And bye for now.